Hello soulmates, it is an absolute pleasure to have you once again on my channel. If this is your first time checking out my channel, please consider subscribing because on this channel I teach you how to do simple DIY fashion right there at your home. Today I'll be showing you how to make a simple gathered skirt. So for a gathered skirt, there are some measurements that you have to consider when wanting a gathered skirt. The first thing you have to think about is how much fabric do you have. So when you're making a gathered skirt, the minimum amount of fabric that you could use is your waist multiplied by 2. So if you want a skirt that is not so much full, you can just multiply your waist by 2 and you could get a gathered skirt. But you can also multiply your waist by 3. In this case, I'm going to multiply my waist by 3 in order to know how much fabric that I need. So my waist is 34 inches and the length of the skirt that I want when I'm done is 30 inches. So when I multiply my waist by 3, my waist is 34. When I multiply that by 3, I'm going to get 102. Also, I'm thinking about putting pockets in this skirt, so I have to take in consideration that seam allowance at the side in order to insert my pocket. So I will have to add an extra 2 inch to that measurement, the 102, in order to get the seam allowance that I need at the side to get my pockets. Also, you have to think about the zipper. You can put a zipper at the side or you can put a zipper at the back. In my case, I'm going to put a zipper at the back, so I'm going to add an extra 1 inch. So in all, the total number of fabric that I will need is 105, a length of 105. All right. Also, let's talk about the length just a little bit. I want a length of 30. When I finish my skirt, I want it to be 30 inches long. But I also want a waistband on this skirt, and I want that waistband to be 5 inches high. So this is my waistband, and unfold, this is 5 inches. It's actually 6 inches, but because I'm going to use seam allowance to turn it in, it's gonna be about 5 inches when I'm done. Okay, so I cut enough in order to get my waistband. So you have to deduct that 5 inches from the full length of the skirt, which will give me 25 inches. But then I'm gonna need ½ inch at the top to sew it to my waistband, and ½ inch at the bottom, or 1 inch at the bottom, to turn up the edges. So that's gonna be 26 inches long. So here I have my fabric. Let me put these aside for a bit. This is the fabric that I will be using. It's a very beautiful fabric. It came, the bottom of the fabric was actually black and the top is white, and there's floral in the middle. So I decided to go with the white top. So here on my fabric, I have the length that I need, the 105 length. And that's the 105 width, and the length of it, I have my 26 inches. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your fabric and you're going to fold it in 2 first. So here I have my fabric folded in 2, right? So now I'm going to fold it again. I'm going to fold it in 4 this time. I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it in 4. But I'm going to fold it in such a way that I will have my 1 inch seam allowance at the back for my zipper. Okay? So I fold it 2 times and then I fold again 4 times until I have 1 inch at the back for my zipper. Okay? So now what you're going to do, to get your side seam, you're going to slit this side open. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to slit that side open. So what you're going to have now is that you're going to have your front, which is this part here, that's unfold, and you're going to have two pieces for the back. 1, 2. All right. So now what you're going to do to get started is that you're going to determine where you want your pocket, because as I said, I want pockets in my skirt. So I'm gonna put them back together like this, and from the top of this seam allowance, I'm going to go down. So I'm gonna cut off the selvage. So I'm gonna go down about 4 inches, which is here. There you go. And then you're going to take your pocket, because I cut up my pocket already. I'm going to measure how far my pocket is, and I'm going to mark that point there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to notch that area so that I know that my pocket starts exactly there and stop exactly there, so I'll know what to do when I'm sewing. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to put my pockets in. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your, so remember this is your pocket, it's slashed open. You're going to take your front, so this is my front. All right, notch the front, the middle of the front, which is here. So you're also going to notch your seam allowance right here. Okay, so I'm going to notch my seam allowance here so that I know that's where my zipper will go. Okay, I'm going to do that also at the bottom. All right, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to pin in my pockets. So this is the right side of my fabric. I'm going to take my pocket and I'm going to put right sides facing each other on one side. So remember, you should have them exact because we notched them, and I'm going to pin it down. I'm going to pin it here also. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, right sides facing each other, exactly where I started. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the front piece. Yes, and so what I'm going to do now, take each of them to my sewing machine and I'm going to run a stitch to secure it, and then I'm going to flip it over like this and top stitch to keep it in place. So I'm going to do that and I'll show you what to do next. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I stitched the pockets. This is what you're supposed to have. And I top stitched towards the pocket, as you see here. So I first sew it down and then I top stitch towards the pocket. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to put the back. So this is the front. Remember, this is the front. This is the long piece. So I'm going to take my back, right sides facing each other. And you're going to put right sides facing each other like this. Okay? And then you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to take your 1-inch seam allowance that we left all the way around to your pocket bag like this, all the way down, around to your pocket bag and all the way down to close up the sides. And you're going to do it on both sides of the skirt. Okay, So this is the other side of the skirt. I'll do that and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, soulmates, so I went ahead. So this is what I have. This is the pocket it's in. The pockets are in. And this is what the other one looks like. I also went ahead and I serged my pocket all the way down to the end of my skirt. So what I'm going to do now, before I do that, I want you to do something for me. You're going to take your waistband. So I want a waistband of my waist is 34 inches plus 1 inch on both sides for my zipper. So it means then that I'm supposed to have 17 inches for my actual waist. Unfold now, which is here. Okay. And then I'm going to have 1 inch on both sides. So this will be 1 and 1. So here I have more than 1 inch. So let me just do. So I'll just mark that. And I'm going to just take this. So this would be the middle of the band. Let me note that. The middle. Note the middle. And you're going to put it exactly on the end of the actual waistband, which is here. And you're going to note that measurement also. Because what you want is that the side seams, you want the side seams to match up with the side where the pocket is. You don't want to put your garment in and then the pocket, because it's gathered, the pocket is somewhere else other than this seam that's right here. So you need to note that measurement. So let me open it and show you. So this is my middle, and this would be the sides where the pocket is supposed to locate. So ensure that you have that. I'm just going to cut off this here because I don't need all this fabric. Okay, I'll do that. There you go. All right. So now what you're going to do is that you're going to gather your pattern. No, not your pattern, your skirt. So what you're going to do, you're going to run a two loose stitch. The loosest stitch you can think of. Run it along all the way to the end of your skirt. So ensure that your sewing machine is at the longest stitch and at the loosest stitch, so that you'll get very good results, because you don't want to keep gathering and it's breaking because it's too tight. So ensure it's at the loosest stitch. So I'm gonna run that stitch and I'll show you what's next. Okay guys, so now I went ahead. If you notice, my stitches at the back, they're very loose. So that's what you want. The ones at the front, they look like this, and it's at the longest stitch that I put it. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to grab the loosest one, which is the one at the back. So I'm gonna grab that one like this, and I'm gonna start pulling and pushing. See how easy that is? See how easy that is? See? So what you're going to do after you gather, sure that everything stays up, you're going to take your waistband and you're going to start matching up the points. So I'm going to find my middle that I notched, because I want my piece to be even. So there it is, and I'm going to match it up. So this is the part that I want to stay at the front, this part. So I'm going to put it like this, right sides facing each other. And I should tell you that I've used interfacing on my band. and I'm going to put it here at that notch. Then I'm gonna find the side notch because I want it to be even. See, this is it, and I'm gonna put it there. I'm just going to ensure that this the correct place, that, and this here is at the other end. So now I'm going to move it around so that they are all even. Okay guys, so I finished gathering my skirt. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to run a stitch all the way down to secure it. So I'm gonna do that and I'll show you what to do next. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I ran that stitch, and this is what it looks like. You see? So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to insert my zipper. But before I do it, I'm going to cut off some of these because I don't want the selvage underneath to be too bulky. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna cut away some of all this fabric so that when I turn over my band, there's not a lot of bulge in the underneath it. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna serge this part of it. I'm going to serge also this zipper part, and I'm going to serge inside so that it just cut it off. So I'm gonna do that and I'll show you what to do next. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I stitched my band to the skirt. I'm going to take out all these basting threads, and I'm now going to insert my zipper. So if you notice here, I went ahead and I serged it. So my 1-inch seam allowance, I'm going to take that in. Okay, and you know this is the middle of my band, so I'm going to insert my zipper from the middle. If you do not know how to insert a zipper, I have a detailed video on how to do that. You could go and check it out. So I'm going to insert my zipper, close up the back of my seam, and then I'm going to show you how to finish the waistband of this skirt. I'll do that and I'll show you what to do. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I put in my zipper. So this is what it should look like. This is my zipper at the back, and what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to pull down my zipper like this, and then you are going to take the waistband and flip it over like this. Okay, you're going to flip it over like this, and you're going to run a stitch very close to the edge of the zipper teeth, but not too close, okay? It will break. But after I do that, when I flip it over, I'm just going to stitch in the ditch all the way to secure the waistband in place. And then the final thing on this project is to finish the hem of your garment. You could do a turn up and finish it, like fold it 2 times and finish it, or you could just serge it if you have a serger and then turn it up and it will be done. And this will conclude the end of this skirt. So I'll do all of that and then I'll show you how it looks. Okay soulmates, so this is the result of the skirt that we've just made. You see how beautiful this is? This is the waistband. This is the end of the skirt. These are the pockets of the skirt. So if you find this video helpful, do not forget to give me a thumbs up, a giant thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on that post notification bell so you'll be notified each time I create video. Until we meet again, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.